Hi, and welcome to an Organized Chaos podcast. I'm Bobby Quarters. Chaos is here with me as well. We just wanted to thank you for watching.
Yes. Hey, Bobby.
And hey, and while you're here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You could follow me on YouTube as well as Chaos and the podcast channel, which all three of those channels will be streaming this very show you're about to watch. All these counselors start dropping dead, left and right. Heinous killings. Turns out, that kid who drowned the year before, his mother came back to that camp and exacted revenge.
What happened? I don't know why he came all the way up here. There's nothing left.
Most people had finally given up hope.
Give me the loving! Now, stay back. We are going to rock through time.
Oh, this is so Bridgerton. You are wild, brave, and rude. No, you made it worse.
Oh, is it the universe, man? Let's have a random landing.
Is it safe?
This is what we're trying to stop. All of life extinguished.
We've got work to do.
A Jedi was murdered.
The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
Jedi are being hunted.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
Hello. It's just me today. Right, Bobby? It's just me today?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah.
That is correct. I would say that.
Yes. Hello, everybody. We got a Quiet Place 2 to discuss today, as well as a Doctor Who and Acolyte. And we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to go over some chud clips, mainly because I'm not really streaming that much this week. And Bobby wants to go over them. And you know what? I'm doing research for my essays. So you know what? It kind of works out perfectly.
Yeah, because I all I've heard is just there's a bunch of discourse about this series. And as someone who's mostly 50-50 on new Star Wars content, like... Mm-hmm. I'm curious what the outrage is. Like, I mean,
it's for
everyone's been asking for since before the prequels, which is new Star Wars content.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just confused as to that simple, unanimous thing. The last thing I think the fandom ever agreed on is that they wanted more.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, like, George Lucas was always hesitant to do Star Wars content. They did the prequels, which I know it's gotten a re-evaluation in recent
Hey
years.
man, hey,
I still largely dislike them.
I believe in Sith Lord Jar Jar. I will die on that hill. And you know what it does? It makes me enjoy the Phantom Menace more and enjoy those movies more.
Yeah, well, and
if
but
it makes
now
you
all of a sudden
enjoy those more.
Yeah, the prequels are terrible, but now we got more Star Wars stuff, which the people thought they wanted, but now they're all upset about it. And they're just, and frankly, outrage has been monetizable. But we'll look at some of that outrage because it's really fucking dumb.
Grifters.
I mean, yeah, Chud's gonna chud, but
like that guy, Chris Gord or whatever his fucking name is.
Oh God,
the guy that you actually agreed that you guys agree on something, and that Last Jedi is great.
Yeah, true. But
you don't profit off of hate clicks. That's the difference.
No. And sometimes I wish I did, but you know what? I have this thing called a conscience, and
we
ethics.
We could just make it be like silly things, like I really hate it, when I get to the self checkout, and I mean, and then I have to have the person come over and to pretty much put something in special access, like a coupon code or something, when I just feel like I could be, they could just let me do that since I'm already doing, the other half of that work.
Yeah. Well,
maybe the employee discount would be nice.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with these guys. Like, they're always yelling about, like, they really show, because they're frankly always doing the bigotry angle when, like, there could be actual things to complain about. Because we're going to get to Doctor Who and Acolyte, and I have complaints of both of those, especially Acolyte. Doctor Who, it's kind of give and take on my complaints. Like, I could argue for it and against it, but their complaints are just off the wall and insane. And lots of times it's about stuff that's actually pretty well done, but it's all their political agenda garbage. But you know what? Before we get into all the chud angles, you want to talk about Quiet Place 2 a little bit?
Yeah, that's kind of chudless.
Yeah. I mean, as Ashley even reminded me, the first Quiet Place kind of had a kind of a chud take where Ben Shapiro tried to claim that it was a conservative movie because the mother gives birth, where I'm like, who's against that, Ben?
He has children, right?
Yeah. No, it's
do you
what are you talking about?
Do you he couldn't have been in the room at the time. Like, I mean,
we are, and I think Ben Shapiro will wrap this around nicely, but like, we are talking about a man who was talking about how his wife's vagina is dry.
His doctor wife.
Yeah, his doctor wife informs him that if it gets wet down there, there's something medically wrong. I don't know who to feel sorry for in that scenario, but it's not Ben. Yeah,
his doctor wife now.
But Quiet Place 2, I think, if memory serves, I covered this by myself when the podcast first started. I think the first episode of the podcast, if not the first, one of the very early ones. Because this was the first movie I went to the theater to watch when movie theaters reopened.
Okay.
So I mean,
talking about that? Because
I
don't think I was on the show yet, but I remember you mentioning that one of the times about going back to theaters. Because to me, because it was still COVID era, and that still seemed weird to me. I was like, so they have like dividers, or like, how does that work?
No, well, I mean, it was a big deal for me because I was like, okay, let's go ahead and try it out because they didn't do the dividers. I remember when I got my tickets, essentially when you buy your tickets online, which you had to do, they would X out the seats next to you. So they don't charge you for them, but those seats are cleared out so that way there's at least a seat between.
God, I wish that still existed.
I know, that'd be nice. But
I mean, because that's the one gripe I usually have about going to the theater for the show.
I know this theater was fucking empty because there's still not a lot of people going. The only reason I went, and I think I took the kids, was because we were all vaccinated and I wouldn't go until that happened. Just because COVID's fucking scary. But we went, we saw Quiet Place 2, and upon the rewatch, I don't remember exactly what my takes were because it was a few years ago, but I'm pretty sure my opinion's the same because I remember it's like I like this movie. I just dislike turning A Quiet Place into a franchise because it's just a nice little movie, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
this is
this
a
kinda
fine
seemed
follow-up,
like
but
I don't really think a lot happened. Like, not a real
Mhm.
progression other than just it's just another movie in this franchise now.
Yeah, it's becoming this franchise now. Like,
Yeah.
it used to be a movie about a family like learning to communicate and the importance of communication, and now it's a franchise about sound monsters. And it's like one of those is much cooler than the other. One of those is much more relatable. Like the sound monster gimmick is fine, and I guess the original movie still exists, but like, and again, like if we're talking about actual like execution of this movie, I think John Krasinski does a really good job directing this one. Like there's some cool stuff. Like like that begins, and I forgot did this. It begins with day one, so we see the sound monster's first attack, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't really like seeing day one was cool, but also I'm not really sure. I guess it's there just to establish that they knew Emmett beforehand, which I'm not sure how important that really
Because they
is.
got a
Because I
sequel
mean, he
bait
pops up
early.
fairly early. Yeah,
Because they want a sequel bait that early.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess he learns to dive, so they can set that up for later. I don't know. That's really about it. It sets up that Emmett is there, and he learns dive from the daughter, and that's all you need from that beginning sequence. Um, yeah. I guess it also kind of sets up how, like, but here's the thing. It sets up this thing where you see the family communicating via sign language, and you see how the family, obviously, that would give them an advantage in surviving in this environment. But that's also something that I assumed watching the first movie, that their sign language gave them an advantage.
Yeah.
So, again, like, do I think A Quiet Place 2 is a bad movie on its own? No. I think it's well executed. I think it's kind of cool. I just dislike turning this into like it used to be just like a little movie about like something cool, like very human, and now it's a franchise about sound monsters. And I'm like, that's not as cool in my opinion. I guess it's just as simple as that. I've been talking a lot, Bobby. What are your thoughts? Because you haven't seen this before yet, have you?
No, I haven't. This is like my first
Yeah.
go through with this series, and I still agree with you. Like, I feel like this doesn't need to be a franchise. I think they told the story well enough
Yeah.
in the first movie. Yeah, like I don't like again. I didn't feel like enough really happened. Like enough that really I can think like. I remember there being like what there was another group of people who were a little malevolent or evil or.
Yeah,
were
they
just kinda
encounter like
there.
they don't explain those people at all. There's these people who essentially are evil, and I don't know what
Yeah.
their goal was, but like, yeah, they just
Yeah.
made a big
Just
noise to
kinda
get the sound
there.
monsters to attack them so they could run away.
Or like they could like get other people and steal their shit or whatever. I don't
Mhm.
know. I didn't quite know
And
what
then
they were doing here because
they
when they came up, I was more like, "Who the fuck are these people?
yeah,
What?"
they're working like at first I was like maybe it'll be like some sort of cult that's worshiping the sound monsters, but it doesn't really seem like that. I just
That would have been cool.
yeah, that could have been
No.
interesting. And also they also said that the sound monsters can't hear, and then or the sound monsters can't swim. They can't hear. They can hear very well.
Yeah,
But they can't
I
swim.
thought that was kind of
And that's
really
kind of
dumb.
I don't know, it's fine, but then they go to the island where the humans are, and they're hiding out there. And then the boat with the monster on it just happens to drift over there. And I'm like, oh, come on, really? Are we
No,
serious
man.
on this?
They had to have a big action sequence.
Yeah, it's like that felt
We got to
kind of
pad that
forced.
out.
And
I got to pad
again,
that out, man.
to John Krasinski's credit, I think he handles that type of stuff really well so that you're kind of engaged enough with the characters and kind of on board. But like it does break down upon closer examination something that will happen in the next thing we talk about as well. But yeah, like again, this is fine. But I just don't think it should be a franchise.
Yeah, Mikhail, it is kind of boring as hell.
See, I don't know. I will say this one drags a lot more. This one's only like 7 minutes longer than the first one, and it does feel a lot longer. Because I remember watching, being like, "Oh wow, this one's got to be around 2 hours, right?" Because it's already been on for a while, right? And then I brought up the time. I was like, "Oh shit, it's actually not that much longer than the first one."
It's only been 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this one's less engaged. Like I will say, I was startled by the bear trap. That was holy shit.
Holy fuck.
That was the biggest startle this whole movie gave me. I mean, it was a big deal in the first one where they kill a sound monster, and in this one they kill probably like 4 or 5 of them. So
yeah, that's about how many
less and less special. Yeah,
but it looked like they killed one, but then the same one got back up.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was just after that one took a shotgun blast in the bus. And I'm like, no, that pretty much killed it last time.
And then add to it like this follow-up movie isn't even A Quiet Place 3. Because fun fact, this movie, I don't want to say it ends on a cliffhanger, but it doesn't have it obviously is set up for a follow-up. Like essentially the big conflict is ended, but then obviously we have 2 groups separate. The goal is to bring the 2 groups together and resolve this. But just ends suddenly. It's obviously set up for A Quiet Place 3, and we're not even getting that. We're getting a prequel movie for some reason, because we need to set up a whole Quiet Place cinematic universe, I guess. I mean, after this, are we going to get A Quiet Place Day 2? It's just frustrating because it's like a cool movie getting ruined by a franchise, being a franchise now. And maybe the new one will be good, I hope. But I mean, this is the type of thing to complain about. Little cool little horror movie makes money and is now a franchise when it shouldn't be. That's something to complain about.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
It was fine.
Like I said, I hope it's good. And I've heard really good things about Barbarian. I should check it out.
I've heard nothing but good things about that either.
Maybe I'll throw it into the podcast.
Why are we waiting so long to watch House of the Dragon, man?
It's coming up. It's on
I wanted
the
to
agenda.
bring this
Don't
up
worry.
to you before we started. I've been
well,
I just wanted to watch it.
I know it's coming up.
I mean, 2 episodes are already aired.
Ooh.
2. That's.
Well, we could rearrange stuff for sure. I see a whole rearrange it if you want to do it next week. We'll talk about it afterwards. So maybe House of the Dragon next week. But yeah, is there anything you want to add to Quiet Place Part 2? Because
I have it written down here.
Ooh.
No, I said it. Yeah, I already said it.
Yeah, this. Listen, Quiet Place is a cool movie being ruined by turning into a franchise, and hopefully the spin-offs are cool, but it shouldn't be a fucking franchise. I swear to God.
Yeah,
it's annoying. And that brings us to Doctor Who, and we will have some chud takes, but let's go ahead and kind of go over our thoughts on this. Let's see. I guess, Bobby, you want to go into it? And
get to episodes.
Because I will say, I think kind of going over, if I were judging this season completely on just vibes and how I feel watching the episodes, I think it's really good. But it's when I start breaking down, especially looking at season-long storylines, a lot of it falls apart.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Just to jump real quick to the end, Empire of Death. Episode by itself kind of wild, kind of all over the place, but kind of cool. Breaks down when you examine all the shit that came before it really badly. Like, would I call it a bad episode? I don't think so, but like,
because they started this like
Mhm.
one of those really good like Doctor Who episodes from the early ones, like the early
Mhm.
reboot. That is like a
Yeah.
lot of the starting of this reminded me of how the beginning of the Master arc started. And I'm like, oh, are they going to go into like a big long one on this last one? Are they going to leave us with
Yeah.
a cliffhanger? Hell yes. Like that was my going into it reaction, because the rest have been kind of just, mid up to this point.
Yeah.
Like nothing really overwhelming. The one where they went to old timey Britain, that was kind of like one of those really weird one-off ones that I kind of liked. Have a
Mhm.
complaint about that one, but we'll get to that in a minute after this. But like, yeah, no, but they wrapped it up in one episode, which I'm kind of not too cool
Yeah.
about. Not too keen on that. I kind of feel like this should be.
I will
much
say,
bigger.
like,
They could have
here's
done
the
more
weird thing. So,
stretching
like,
it out over like 3 or 4 episodes. Okay, sorry. Go.
So, like, it kind of ends on a 2-part, because Legend of Ruby Sunday definitely leads into Empire's Death. And Legend of Ruby Sunday I actually think was really cool, and it got me really, really excited and hyped for Empire of Death. And then Empire of Death happened, and it was kind of like, okay. We can get into details later, but it's like, it's cool, but also kind of sucks. Just all over the place on my thoughts on that one. I will go ahead and say I think the height of this season were episodes 5 and 6 with Don Bubble and Rogue. I really like both of those, and yes, one of those is the one where the Doctor is gay. I like the relationship between the two. I think they have a good chemistry. I think it works. I think those 2 episodes by themselves are fantastic. And
yeah,
really
no,
fucking
I
good.
really liked. Yeah, I agree with you. I really liked, Legend of Ruby Sunday. Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
one was great. That's one that started. Yeah, that's right. And then just Empire of Death. It's just
Yeah.
not that
Well,
great.
I mean, we can get into details here. So, like, it's revealed. So I even watched Pyramids of Mars recently, because I was actually misremembering, because people bring it up, and I was thinking of the David Tennant Mars one, which I think might be called Waters of Mars. But no, it's an old Tom Baker one, which actually I don't think I've seen before. So it was kind of cool to go back and watch it. So it links to that one. And the reveal is that Suketh, who is the main villain of Pyramids of Mars, has attached himself to the TARDIS and been on the TARDIS invisible the entire time since Pyramids of Mars. That sounds really cool. However, let's think about this. So in the Giggle, which frankly wasn't that long ago, if this was a while ago, I would forgive it more, but it wasn't that long ago. In the Giggle, the Doctor does a bi-generation. So we get David Tennant and Ncuti Gatwa to defeat the toy maker right at the end of that, working together. 2 Doctors simultaneously existing. Very cool. But they have one TARDIS. And Ncuti Gatwa is able to because they defeat the toy maker, they get like this prize, and they're able to use that prize to make a second TARDIS. And Ncuti Gatwa, the 15th Doctor, takes the duplicate TARDIS. He does not take the original. Like, if it was the other way around, maybe they could argue that Sutekh stayed on the original. But apparently Sutekh either A, changed TARDISes because he's invincible, and it's just not established, or there's 2 Suteks, and there's still a Sutekh on the 14th Doctor's TARDIS.
And not only that, the 50th.
Oh my God.
Hey, not only that, the
Yeah.
50th. Okay, based off of that, then. So, that would mean in the 50th, there was somewhere around 14 TARDISes. That's
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No, I'm
So
sorry.
that's
No,
a shit ton of Suteks flying around with this one TARDIS.
No, hold on. So Baker was what? 5, right?
4.
Okay. And Smith was 12.
Smith was 11, but there's also the War Doctor. So
12. Yes, 12.
But no, keep in mind Peter Capaldi was also there. So 12 was there.
He wasn't at 50. He wasn't the Doctor at 50.
He had a brief cameo on the 50th, actually. You just see his eyes, but he was actually there in the final battle.
That's right, he was, because they were teasing him.
Mhm.
So yes,
Yeah, he was
oh,
all
yes.
cast and ready to go.
So sorry, yes, even fucking more of them.
So there's a lot of Sutex in that moment.
This is why continuity is bad for a series like Doctor Who, man.
Yeah, and I don't want to freak out about continuity because I don't like the 50th was 10 years ago. I don't want to get too focused on that. What bugs me is the
Sorry,
giggle.
no, just you said that,
literally
and that
just
brought
a
it up.
duplicate fucking TARDIS created right there. Where is Sutek in this? I kind of want to know. It's like this cool. It's this thing that sounds like a cool idea, but like, and I feel like that's what Russell T Davies has always had an issue with. Is like he does cool ideas, and even if you watch the older stuff, he'll do cool ideas and not really think about the broader implications. And that's kind of an issue I have.
Well, the original team was great. They had a lot of moving parts there. Like Russell T Davies was great at like starting the stories, but he always had to have. Oh my gosh, I'm spacing on the writer's name. Stephen Moffat. Moffat always closed strong. He always closed strong.
Yeah. Kind of surprised he didn't have him work on Empire of Death because he did do Boom.
Oh yeah, I know. I could totally tell he did
Boom.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So like Stephen Moffat, I do think like as much. I think my favorite run has been the Matt Smith's run as far as overall writing, just because I think Stephen Moffat did a good job, and I think he got a bit too eccentric and weird for Capaldi. This is my personal opinion. And it got a bit too much with
what he was getting into.
Yeah, true. Dude, I don't blame Capaldi at all. I think all the Doctor actors have been really good. Just some of the writing has been wonky.
I take Steven's side on that one, man. I'm sorry.
But
he walked into a well-established franchise at that point. But I have my issues with those years, anyways.
Yeah,
Claire out early. I got so tired of her.
But yeah. Like essentially, like I feel like he did he set up a really cool story, but like the landing was spotty, very spotty. We can get into the Ruby Sunday stuff too, because I actually really like the resolution that she finds her parents and kind of
Mr. Mother.
Yeah, they found her father. They just haven't encountered him yet. And kind of like she's really excited for the Doctor to meet all of them and to realize, oh, the Doctor is going to continue doing his adventure because that's what he does. And like the best thing for her would be to stay here and be with her family. And it's kind of this sad, bittersweet thing, but I feel like it's an appropriate ending. The problem is leading up to it, and I like the idea of her mother being just a human. And the only power her mother has had has been the power infused by Sutek, who thinks she's something else. The problem is when the mother is just a normal human being, why is there all this weird shit going on around Ruby Sunday that indicates that she is like supernatural?
Maybe
it's more than just...
It's season 2 bait, man.
Maybe, but there's a lot of questions in this series. And again,
I also really found that annoying. Here. I found that aspect very annoying too. Like, for what? It's fucking over? Like, what?
Yeah, no, it's like on the face of it, I like the idea of her mother just being a normal human and Sutek just freaking out over it. I like that idea, but I feel it's fairly obvious in the writing that was not the original plan. Or what they were even thinking, that they were just kind of building this thing up. And then when they came up with the idea to make her a regular human, it's like, oh shit, that doesn't really fit with what we wrote before. Fuck it. Let's move on anyway. So do I think this season of Doctor Who is bad? Not remotely. Overall, I enjoy it. I will go ahead and say, what are your... I'll go ahead and say I really like Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like him.
I think he's fantastic.
I feel like he is, as every character does, they make it their own.
Yeah.
And he is making it their own. And to be honest, I've never really thought about his sexuality as the Doctor as a character.
Yeah.
But, the gender fluid thing I get. I get it.
Well,
Well, he knows me as a wife, and he's gay, so just whatever. Yeah, I get
yeah. Well, I think it's kind of I think it's well done. So like the doctor's sexuality, I don't think has ever been really explored like
he had a wife and
really
a kid
firmly. Yeah, but like
in the Tenet years. Yeah, that was just
but,
David Tennant's actual wife could be on the show.
Yeah,
as the doctor's
at
daughter,
some point. Yeah,
which was
but
weird. But all right, guys.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but hey, whatever. Everybody's happy. So
hey, Dexter
think,
had to pretend his wife, or what is it? C. Thomas Howell, who played Dexter, had to pretend that his wife was a sister. So
Michael C. Hall.
Yeah, Michael C. Hall. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And then they got divorced and still were professional and work with each other. So that's commendable.
Not awkward at all. Hey, they did a great job.
They did.
All my issues with Dexter, their performances are not on there.
Oh, Jen Carpenter's fucking great.
Yeah. So my thoughts on Doctor Who this season, I think it's really good, especially Don Bubble and Rogue. And I'll go ahead and throw Legend of Ruby Sunday in there just because I think it's a great build-up to a disappointing finale, but still, it does its job getting you hyped for it. Those three are really good. 73 Yards and Boom are really good. Devil's Chords is... It's not one that thrills me, but I think Jinx Monsoon does a fantastic over-the-top villain. And I'm all for over-the-top villains in Doctor Who for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason why Anthony Ainsley is my favorite master, because he is just over-the-top chewing scenery with the Doctor. So, yeah. Overall, I think it's a good season. It's let down by a weak finale, in my opinion. Kind of talk to you is kind of crystallizing my thoughts on this. Yeah, it's a weak finale, and a weak opener with Space Babies. Church on Ruby Road doesn't thrill me, but Space Babies I think is definitely the low point of the season here. Way more good than bad. I think Ncuti Gatwa was great. I think Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday is a solid companion for him. I think they do have a good closing story for her. I think it's kind of clear what happened, that Russell T Davies just thought of a good ending for her character and decided to go ahead and go forward with it, which makes sense. It's usually a good idea when you have a good idea to close out a story to jump on it. I just wish it linked up more with the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah. All the DNA tests saying they can't find her parents. It's like, well, wait, they should have been able to find her parents. It was nothing fancy. And the DNA test at the end is the one that finds it. It's like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Ainley is good. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, I think he was the second guy who did the Master in the classic series, I want to say.
Yeah, but John Sim, man.
He's okay. He chews the scenery as well.
Better than Eric Roberts.
Oh, no, in the script I'm writing, I even mentioned Eric Roberts because, oh my God, that was so bad. Probably the most famous actor to play the Master ever, but fuck, that was terrible.
And that's probably the first time an American actor is portraying a role traditionally kept by a British actor too.
Dude, like they totally rip off the Terminator in that movie too. It's listen.
Which one is this? Wait, what? We have to watch this. What is this?
Yeah. Listen, the Doctor Who American TV movie starring Paul McGann sucks, but Paul McGann does a good job in it. Reinforcing my theory, we've never had a bad Doctor actor.
Morbius, and everyone was fucking terrible in that except for Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, true. So let's see. We can go over some. I got some chud takes on this to queue up. So anything you want to add before I get to some chud takes?
Oh, let's bring on the pain and suffering of them.
So real quick, before we get into these chud takes, I found a clip that just really frustrated me. So I'll go ahead and play it. This isn't related to Doctor Who or Acolyte, but kind of sets up exactly who these guys are. real quick.
Reshoots again right now in London. Like as of yesterday, Gal Gadot posted a picture. They're doing reshoots. I think this is the second round of reshoots, and it's now been over 2 years since they did principal photography because the first round of reshoots got big time delayed by the strike and everything.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking...
So that's a little clip from a stream they did where they're calling Rachel Ziegler rhymes with runt for demanding to get paid fairly for her job. Like, that's classy stuff, guys. Yeah, I hate these guys.
Who are those?
But anyways,
who are those bunholes?
Well, I think the main one talking was Ryan Canal, but that was on Friday Night Tights, which is Nerdrotic stream. So I don't know who did the editing on that one.
Okay.
But anyways, our first clip will be Ryan Canal, and there's going to be a fair bit to break down on his clip. Talk about Doctor Who's ratings.
And Ncuti Gatwa to play black gay Doctor Who. And they wanted to make sure that with each and every episode, they remind you that he's black and that he's gay and how important that is to all of the stories that they're telling. And as a result, by focusing on agenda and identity politics instead of actually telling a story for Doctor Who fans, this has been the result. 26% on Rotten Tomatoes right now for the current iteration of Doctor Who. And it looks like it's only going to get worse.
Hold on.
A bunch of people were tuning.
Yes. So he's talking about the audience score, obviously.
Not only that, but he knows that starts as a satire site, right? Like that's Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
is nothing
true.
To base anything off of. It's a joke.
No.
It's a joke.
Yeah, at best, you can kind of get maybe a general vibe off Rotten Tomatoes, but that's it. The whole point is really just, frankly, you should watch it yourself and come up with your own opinions rather than using something like this. But this is just general vibe, and
like that. It to me that just says if you just base it off of this, Mr. Tiny Man in the screen there, then you're obviously easily influenceable. And
yeah, good point. Well,
and that just you probably had to touch the stove more than once to learn that it was hot. Is all I'm saying.
It's a good point, and like they put huge stock into the audience score, which can be manipulated if you get enough people behind it. So, and fun fact, when you review bomb stuff, it makes the audience score useless. So good way to nullify your point. But anyways, let's get into more of this. And, in case you're wondering, I don't know if you remember, this is the guy who had a clip go viral when he complained in his Batman review that there were not enough good white people in it. So
I'm what?
Yeah, that was his complaint to the Batman.
Wait, the Robert Pattinson Batman?
Yes. There wasn't enough good white people in
that
it.
had like dark lighting. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this is where we're coming from with these guys. So,
hating it, that would be one thing. But also the ratings are the worst we've ever seen.
So he's going to go through lots of news sources, and real quick, I'll just go over some of these new news sources. Cosmic Book News is definitely one of them.
Is that comic book news?
Cosmic Book News.
Cosmic Book News, okay.
They're pretty bad. The worst ones are Bounding into Comics, which isn't as bad recently, but it's still bad. But the two really bad ones are That Park Place and Fandom Pulse, and we'll get into some of them. I actually have one of the writers for Fandom Pulse clipped here.
I used to send you stuff that I would find off of them until I found out that they were targeted like that, and then you said, "Yeah, dude, don't send me stuff like that. Here's why." Me, I had no idea. Okay,
yeah. No, a lot of these guys will draw sources from these guys, and like when we get into actually who these guys are, it's pretty fucking gross, and it shows you where these guys are coming from.
Doctor Who gay kiss episode. The first time you'd ever seen the Doctor have a kiss with another man. How impressive, how stunning, how brave.
No,
not true. Not true at
No,
all.
Not true. Not true at all. And I remember it not being a big fucking deal then either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he there's the kiss between him and Captain Jack. That's literally season 1. That's Christopher Eccleston. That's 2005 right there. And then there's a quick kiss between him and Rory back with Matt Smith. This is not groundbreaking. Now, you could argue it's the first romantic kiss between him and another man. It's also one of the best episodes of the season, in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think
this is what Doctor.
What was that?
I said I think Boom is the best episode in the season, but that's just that's
Boom's
why I love Who.
Yeah,
that's why I love Who. So that's why I say that one was the best.
Mm-hmm.
Just it had the elements I love. But yeah, back to this guy being triggered by
Who is now second lowest ratings of all time. What was it second to? Another episode that aired this season. But what can you say? The fans are listening.
And look, that Park Place.
To what they're telling you to do. Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor Who ratings plummet after he told viewers don't watch. Turn off the TV. This is what they told their fan base. If you don't like how we're going to continue to fuck up this franchise, just turn off the TV. We don't want you here.
So real quick, that's one thing they like to do. So Ncuti Gatwa and Jinx Monsoon did interviews. I think they were separate interviews, but essentially their attitudes were the same. Listen, we're going to address some issues, that we think are important. If you are offended by this, please don't watch. Now, they weren't like, one of the things these guys like to say is they're calling all fans like transphobes or homophobes or racists and stuff like that. That's not what's going on. They're just saying, hey, if you are one of these things, please don't watch. They're not calling all fans that, which is something I can get behind, frankly. It's kind of a disgusting manipulation. But yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see.
Well, the boys showrunner had said the same thing.
Yeah, the showrunner recently came out and said, "Hey, you might define my show as woke. If you think it's woke."
Anthony Mackie also said the
you're
same
welcome
thing
not to watch.
Most of the cast has also
Yeah.
said the same thing. The actor who plays Frenchie, I believe, also told people, if you don't like it, fuck you then.
Yeah, you don't have to watch, guys. We don't care. If you don't watch it because there's like gay people in it, don't watch. And like with the boys, especially, like, at what point did you like? One of these guys' big argument is that somehow queer content's not good for children. Which I'm like, okay, why is queer content not good for children, but straight content is fine?
Kindergartners shouldn't be learning about adultery by the 10 Commandments in their classroom. But hey, that's I also consider that indoctrination. But hey, semantics,
But how are they going to argue that with the boys, which might be a separate thing to dive into? Because it's like the boys is not meant for children at all. What the fuck are you talking?
What the fuck are you doing letting you watch your kid here? You are a terrible parent.
But anyways, here's another one. This is from Dave Cullen. He's one of those guys who likes to try to intellectualize these arguments. Yeah.
An opportunity to push more diverse casting and lecture audiences about racism and sexism, and the Doctor's entire backstory was retconned so that he actually started life not as the first male Doctor, but as a young black female. We warned people about this when they championed the move of making the Doctor a woman in the first place. We warned that this was all part of a social engineering agenda. We explained that wokeness was an attack on culture. We weren't listened to or understood by a vocal minority of extremely lefty Doctor Who fans. As far as they're concerned, the more stunning and brave, the better. Quality of writing be damned.
Oh, no, but
I think you have something to say on that one.
Lefty Doctor Who. The animation's killing me. That's just so funny. Like, man, that's supposed to be defiant, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, he does this stupid anime character for himself, and he tries to intellectualize it, but like that's pure like conspiracy bait he's just throwing out there. Just this wokey agenda to indoctrinate people. It's like, what the fuck are you on?
Doctor Who left us. I was like, You have been watching the show, right?
Yeah. It's kind of insane. Well, I mean, Doctor Who, it's not as much of Doctor Who, although it is there. Like, Leela was a fourth Doctor companion, and part of the reason why they had her was because she was a fighter. Which the Doctor isn't always a fighter. Third Doctor was a fighter. Traditionally, he's not really a fighter though, because every incarnation is different. So when you're judging Ncuti Gatwa saying he's not like the Doctor, every incarnation is different.
Yeah, that's
The
like
general
that
character is kind
actor-
of there, but it's different.
Yeah, like we haven't got to see that rage-filled part of the Doctor yet of this character's
Mhm.
take.
But yeah, this is pure like conspiracy bait, and his
Yes,
thing is he's just trying
yes.
to intellectualize shit.
Yes, yes, Shane. He is a scumbag.
Yeah.
Such a scumbag.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
say a trash-eating scumbag. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
And here is a Midnight's Edge. So it was revealed that Millie Gibson wasn't coming back next season as a full-time companion. She is coming back, but just not in the companion role. There'll be a new companion next season, which after watching this season, it makes sense. I think they did a good job resolving her storyline. I think they built it up kind of poorly, but her resolution is nice. But anyways, here's Midnight's Edge. They are another one that tries to intellectualize this stuff. Essentially conspiracy baiting and kind of lying about this stuff.
You
Can
can't
surmise that she was.
Oh.
No,
Go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, you can't just sprout off your own half-assed, half-cocked, harebrained theory and call it fact. Or it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's just the ravings of a lunatic.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's...
We can surmise that she was indeed fired, because Deadline Hollywood referenced the original and vindicated source by saying, "The Mirror said the decision was made by Doctor Who showrunner Russell T. Davies, and Gibson will not appear in the 2024 Christmas special after her first full season, which premieres in May." In other words, it wasn't the actress who decided that she wanted to leave, it was showrunner Russell T. Davies' call that she do, which is another way of saying she was fired.
Well, another way you could also say is that her contract wasn't renewed, or it was renewed much more limited. You'll see here. He really tries to spin it like they're shitting on her or something.
Russell is keeping things moving and isn't letting the grass grow, that's for sure. On set though, a BBC source added, "Varada is a real gem. Russell was blown away by her talent. The cast and crew have really warmed to her, and he's sure the fans will too." Yeah, that's really nice for Varada Sethu, but make no mistake about it, that's the showrunner, the cast, the crew, the BBC, and the Daily Mirror, who whether they intend to or not, by way of unfiltered leaks, all rake Millie Gibson over the coals as being entirely forgettable. Not
just because the new companion is someone they like, that means Millie Gibson sucks, apparently, according to this guy's narrative. Something special.
It's a great way to promote the
I'm trying to follow his mental gymnastics there.
No, essentially he just reads the article and it's like, okay, yeah, that's true. And then he takes this extreme conclusion. Like, she was fired. And it's like, okay, so technically Russell T. Davies didn't renew her contract. But I mean, it sounds like she probably had a 1-year deal. He thought of a closing for her character and he went with it. That's what we've seen play out.
It was probably a contract negotiation that they were probably going to stretch it because after
she
seeing
does
the
have a
entire
role next season.
It did feel that was rather rushed and put together. So maybe they couldn't come to terms of agreement or like some sort of negotiation on contract, and they just,
she does apparently have a role next season, and it's just reduced. And apparently, she gets a starring role in one episode where it will be her as the main focus. So it's not like she's gone. It just they had a logical conclusion.
It was this hatred for Jenna Coleman, like
yeah.
the upcoming season, and certainly disastrous to a young actress.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, oh, poor Millie Gibson, she got a 1-year role in Doctor Who, got her name on the map, but apparently now, just because she is not coming back for as a full-time companion next season, them raking her over the coals. And honestly, like Russell T Davies did this when he did the reboot. Like, almost makes sense that like he's doing it kind of again, except with instead of the doctor, he's doing it with the companion. Just like, let's kind of change things up before it gets too settled. So that way, you know, there's a logic to it. I don't know if I agree. I don't know. But I also felt like they did a decent job with her conclusion. And it's just a weird way to frame it. Very weird. But anyways, what we're about to watch is the guy who writes for Fandom Pulse, which is one of these news outlets these guys like to quote from. And we're going to really see some shit with this clip. He says some shit you're probably not supposed to say out loud, but let's get into it.
Oh, is he like
Davies is also going around
probably a bit worse.
Russell T Davies is also going around talking about this show just being a gay agenda propaganda, which we already knew. Obviously, if you watch any of the episodes of this season, Ncuti Gatwa is prancing around like he's at a pride parade. And
so I guess they're talking about one quick dance scene in the Christmas scene, and then obviously the episode Rogue. That would be it as far as him being gay-ish. I mean, only Rogue is actually him like having romantic chemistry with another man. Even in the Christmas dance scene that they love to preach about, that's just a quick scene of the doctor acting goofy on the dance floor, which is in character for the doctor, I hate to say, to these guys.
And running around crying. He's not acting like the doctor at all. It's just a big gay fest. And then, you know, to add insult to injury, we had the episode Rogue where he stopped everything, left his companion in danger, didn't care, and decided to go make out with a man because, you know, that's what the doctor does now.
Were we watching the same episode?
Yeah. So did he miss how the dude like actually like captured the doctor, so the doctor couldn't go after him? He actually had him in a confinement, being that the doctor couldn't leave. But yeah, let's just ignore that context. And we're also kind of spoilers. We're also going to ignore the context that Ruby was fine because the doctor actually left her with a device that would allow her to defend herself. But yeah, this ignore that.
Ruby's capable like that.
Yes.
That's
so clearly the character is just a self-insert for Russell T Davies' degenerate lifestyle, and that's exactly what he wanted to portray this. It's always a self-insert with these people. That's what the woke. It's about narcissism, 100%. The wave coming from America where they're trying to have legislation banning drag queens, that's going to come here. Yeah, because this shit shouldn't be in front of children. It's disgusting. You need to be in adult-only places and keep away from the children. Leave them alone. It's creepy. I mean, my gosh. This should not even be something that should be has to be said. But honestly, Doctor Who is a family/children's show. And so he wanted to throw this in here. He wanted imagery of drag queens here, which, you know, incidentally, he portrayed as a narcissistic villain. They always like have a kernel of truth to what they're doing. And then they had the gay makeout session, which, you know, they're saying we want this in front of children. So it's weird. They've started the conversation in this country about banning abortion. Good. Babies shouldn't be killed. I mean, this is all shouldn't be controversial stuff whatsoever, but we live in psycho land where these idiots are on the internet just like going crazy all the time. It started already amongst the right wing. So I think our rights are paper thin. Our rights. Your rights to groom children? Okay.
So yeah, so in case you're wondering, a lot of the big YouTubers use this guy as a source for their bullshit. And this guy is not as big as a lot of the big YouTubers, even though he's on YouTube. Pretty much because of a clip like that. You know, you can get an audience with a clip like that, but that was pure fucking bigotry. I just don't even know how else to describe it. Shitting on women's rights, shitting on calling being gay degenerate. Shitting on
disgusting. It's also disgusting. Yeah. He called it.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. And this is the guy that writes a lot of the articles that the bigger guys like Nerdrotic, who we'll get to eventually, and Critical Drinker and guys like that use as their fucking sources. Obviously they run it through a bit more of a filter to make it a bit cleaner, but it's the same fucking shit. It's pretty nasty. I don't know if Doctor Who's a children's show. Yeah. So like
that's what I was like, debatable.
In
Like,
its origin in the 60s, yes, it was created as essentially an educational show.
But there's some like
I wouldn't call it that now, really.
Dark subject matter, man.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like since the reboot. Like they're ignoring the fact that the Doctor Who has had at least 2 major reboots since it originally started. And we're also ignoring all the mini reboots that have happened. Pretty much every Doctor incarnation is like a mini reboot within the series. It's kind of a fresh start. It's always a good time. Like if you're not sure where to jump in, whenever there's a new Doctor starting out for Doctor Who, it's a good time to jump in because they'll do a little mini reboot to get everybody caught up.
Yeah.
Yes. But you know what? We have one more show left to talk about. We have the Acolyte to talk about. And then we'll have some chud takes on that one too.
Oh joy! Just when I thought that they were done, like
no, they're actually quite a bit louder about the Acolyte.
Oh, you don't say.
It's classy. So Acolyte.
Oh man.
For me, I brought it up on stream before, but I will say this is a series where I think it starts out pretty strong. And I'm getting diminishing returns every episode. Although I will say I think episode 4 was probably better than episode 3.
Yeah.
There's definitely some critiques I have. I will say what is her name? The main character, Amandla Steinberg. I think she comes off a little stilted and bland as Osha. And I think as May, she actually does a really good job. It's kind of weird. Like, I wish she'd put a bit more character into Osha. I think Lee Jung-jae, Master Saul, who is from Squid Games, and I'll never stop being amazed that he's from Squid Games. He's really good. I like seeing Daphne Keane back from Logan. It's nice having her as the Jedi Padawan. I think overall the acting is decent. I like the twist at the end of episode 4 where the fucking dark Jedi user, or I don't even know, dark Force user. Well, I don't know if he's supposed to be Sith or what, but he comes in very mysteriously. It's a very cool little cliffhanger to leave him at. Kind of a dull episode until then, but very cool setup. So, like, my overall thoughts on this series at this point is that I like it, but it's not great. There's lots of meh in this for me right now. At this point.
Agreed. There's a lot of meh. I feel that they're.
Yeah,
I kind
like
of
it
feel
more
like
than I dislike it. But...
tinkering with the lore a little too much.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't. I
whole,
don't mind tinkering with the lore as long as they do something cooler with it.
Like, for them to imply that the Sith have come from like a witch or whatever, which is what I've gathered from it so far, right?
I didn't get that vibe, but
okay,
I'll see where you're going with it.
Okay, Star Wars has always been about the light and the dark, you know.
Yeah,
the yin and the yang, and I just to kind of say that it came from nothing as opposed to the light always being there. That's them tinkering with the lore that I really. I hope that's not the route they're taking with it.
Well,
I'd be very disappointed if that is the route, because I agree with you. A lot of this so far has just been kind of meh, and you don't survive a spaceship falling out of space by just buckling in and doing this. The Force I could forgive. I'll allow the Force to pull Leia back into a starship after the hull being breached and blown apart. But surviving a crash, I don't know.
Well, Crawling Chaos and I are in agreement on this one. So the witches explaining the how they use the Force, I saw that as just we're expanding on the universe, and there's this thing called the Force that exists, and the Jedis have their way of perceiving it, and the witches have their way of perceiving it. That's how I interpreted it.
Okay. But hey, we could disagree on like semantics of it, but still appreciate it as a whole.
I mean, if we're going into that episode, I actually
don't
think the
know.
child actor in it's really bad. And I
Oh,
hate
yeah,
going
yeah.
after child actors. Listen, she's young. She can develop her craft and get much better. It was rough watching her in this one though.
That's a good point.
I was not
Lucifer
thrilled with
writing. That's a good point. Lucifer writing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good point.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
I also
like that
feel
phrasing
the
of
same
it,
way
yeah.
about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Jedi have just dominated it. Yeah, I
They
think
colonized
that's
it.
a
No,
good
they
way to put
definitely
it. Yeah,
colonized it.
colonized it.
Absolutely,
Yeah. We are the Force. It's like
I'm all for the Chancellor and like the for the Chancellor, for the Empire.
Oh, and I know it's a nitpick, but I am disappointed we never got a big fight with the Wookiee Jedi. Like they kind of introduce it and then they're dead.
Right?
It's like, oh, I'm like, oh, come on,
Like
you just introduced a Wookiee Jedi. That's awesome.
This is something I've been wanting for years.
Yeah, but it's like Chewbacca, but he has the Force. Fuck yeah!
But he's a Force user. It's a Wookiee.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, you're not going to do anything with it.
Oh, he's dead now.
That sucks.
Maybe they'll do a flashback and show his death, but
I mean, is that why all
I was
those
like,
kids
oh,
were angry?
God,
Because they killed the Wookiee Jedi? Because I could support that.
no, I have not heard them mention that once.
How are they not
that's the thing,
outraged about this? This is the worst travesty in film since the death of Ben Tramer.
The only complaint they have that I pretty much absolutely do agree with was that the chant in episode 3 was cringe, which I agree. I thought that was cringe.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That's it. Everything else they've had has been pretty bad. So like there's the fire in space, which is like there's been fire in space throughout all of Star Wars. If you're looking for accuracy, watch The Expanse. I don't know what else to say. And even The Expanse is going to take some liberties, but like as far as science accuracy, The Expanse is as close as you're going to get in a sci-fi
There's
show.
fucking laser swords and telekinesis.
Yes.
I'm not looking for accuracy in Star Wars.
Star Trek is more scientifically accurate than Star Wars, and Star Trek
I mean,
is not.
though I am
scientifically
though I
accurate
do
at
have
all.
the argument of surviving the crash, and I just said I'm not looking for accuracy, but like,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
No,
well, I
come
mean,
on.
it
Come
was a
the
pretty
fuck
rough
on.
crash. I like it didn't bug me as much as you, but I can get it, that one. And
If it wasn't 1:30 in the morning, I was going to call you and tell you how much it pissed me off.
but they were upset because a knife killed the Carrie Ann Moss's character at the beginning, which is like essentially their argument was, oh well, lightsabers aren't killing people when stabbed in the midsection, but a heart to the chest kills this character. And I'm like,
it did. It was the death of Qui-Gon Jinn.
yeah. It's like number one, the midsection is not 100% fatal, and number two, like even if you're complaining about that, that would be something this series got right. This character dies from that wound. So essentially, you're complaining about this series for something that you think is bad in other series, and it's like, well, shouldn't you be praising this series then? I'm really confused by that take. But yeah, so overall,
nothing in it makes sense.
Yes. It's a fictional universe, and you're expected to go along with the ride. And how far you go with it depends on how well they set up, how well you get into it.
I just want them to do Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I have mixed feelings about Shadows of the Empire. Although, honestly, I will say most of the
say this
story
in
is
every
cool.
time we talk about a Star Wars series. I just want them to do
most
Shadows of the Empire.
of that story, I think, is kind of cool. I just hate how they kill off Dash Rendar. So casually. It's so frustrating.
Yeah,
Think of something else to do with Dash Rendar.
like just if they didn't kill him and like he, Han, and Lando led an assault on like an Imperial fleet, that would be fucking awesome. But
but
they had to do my man dirty.
Yeah. So yeah, this series is a mixed bag for me. I'm hoping it improves. I would still say I like it more than I dislike it. I thought the first episode was solid. But yeah, I love the guy from Squid Game and the Jedi he's playing. I think he's doing a great job. There's more good here than bad, but it's not perfect at all. So
no, it's not.
Anyways, here we go. So
let's put on the deep hurting.
Yeah. So here's 2 million subscribers himself, Critical Fucking Drinker. Looking at the trailer for the Acolyte, let's look at this great, classy complaint. And if you're fans of the channel, you know this one.
You mean the critical psoriasis candidate?
Mm-hmm.
That's mean. That's mean. I don't mean that.
Definitely had fun playing a particularly challenging game of Spot the White Guy with this trailer, because damn man, this one shows enough to fulfill Disney's entire DEI quota for the next 2 fiscal years. For example, check out this collection of Jedi Padawans and see if you can identify the one demographic that's mysteriously left out.
So, what a great complaint. Not enough white people. Because famously, Star Wars has never had white people in it. Did you know that? Just, yeah.
So he's taking the argument if it ain't white, it ain't right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, white male specifically, because there's
White
plenty
male,
of women in
sorry.
this, but yeah.
Yes.
But apparently, there's not enough white males in his Star Wars thing, and it's one of those takes that's so goddamn bad that, again, I have to ask critical drinker fans, like, what the fuck are you doing with your lives? Like, if I was
on tiki torches,
if I was watching a movie reviewer and he had a clip like this, I'd be like, oh, I'm done with you. You have nothing of value to add to the conversation.
And unsubscribe.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, it's anyways. So here is someone who's a bit newer to the chud circuit, someone I actually kind of used to kind of like, Star Wars Theory, who's decided to kind of dive into the chud circuit. Yeah. He is outraged on this completely, and him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he used to just do like little Star Wars factoid videos that were cool, and like he obviously knew the expanded universe and stuff. And it's like, this is cool, and now he's just hanging out with Critical Drinker and Mahler and Ryan Cannell and outraged grifting. So here's him complaining about something that doesn't matter.
Young Kiadimundi stepped in. A young, so young, we had to make his birth date 40 years earlier because he was that young. We had to literally change what was already established. And people are saying, oh, but it wasn't established. It was. He had a birth date, many different sources, and one of them including is a Topps card. This was all done when George was in charge. He's 70 years old, dude. He was born 93 BBY. This is like, they're just changing stuff, bro. It's wild to me, dog.
So again, complaining about Kiadimundi having a quick role in the Acolyte. So when Disney bought Star Wars, they were pretty clear that pretty much if it's not in the movies or in Clone Wars, it's not canon anymore. They're going to do their own thing with it. Whether you like it or not, that's what they said. I don't think they were taking a Topps card done when the prequels were coming out
promotional
canon
material.
As canon. And honestly, it's clearly, in my opinion, just nitpicking for outrage clicks at this point. It's like, goddamn, I don't care. Like, I don't think it's a big deal to say Kiadimundi comes from an alien race that lives to 150 or something. That's not that big of a stretch. It's an alien.
I know that when I was when I was younger, my grandpa got me a Star Wars figure, and it was that Jedi from that time. Yes, and he did have a purple lightsaber.
Yeah. But anyways, we got like a group here. And these guys are going to, like, obviously we know Daisy Ridley, even John Boyega got some racist backlash. Daisy Ridley got lots of backlash. Kelly Marie Tran got lots of backlash.
Oscar Isaac didn't get any.
Sure.
Sure. I'm joking. Like,
obviously Moses Ingram, Reva from Obi-Wan, got a lot, and she shared it on social media, which good for her. And Amanda Steinberg, the star of this series, recently decided to do a little rap where she is essentially calling these guys out for being piece of shit, frankly. So on a stream recently. I think it was Friday Night Tights, but yeah, it's essentially Nerdrotic and a whole bunch of these chuds are complaining about it and essentially defending some of the terrible treatment that has come the way of these actresses. Here we go.
Amandla comes out and calls everybody racist. I'm sure she's being specific to, whatever she's seen on Twitter. But
White people.
Everybody gets pissed off at it. And they're going to take it personal when an actor decides to make a diss track. That's a great description, Jeremy, by the way. She made a diss track against Star Wars fans. And then what's going to happen? And Ryan, you talked about that the Access media is going to fly in. They're going to fucking make a bunch of articles. And then Disney Star Wars is going to put up some fucking post in support. Just like we saw with Moses Ingram. It's the same song and dance.
Yeah.
And as I asked in my video, when does this ever fucking work? Like,
that's
ever.
what I was going to say. Yeah.
Ever. Never.
It's just going to make people hate her.
Did you have something to say?
Yeah, go back to the image of just the whole group.
Oh.
Dear God,
Yeah.
that's busy. That is a busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Oh my God, what is
So
that?
Nerdrotic.
10 of them? 10
Geeks
of
and
them.
Gamers, Heels versus Babyface, Shadiversity. I don't recognize that guy actually. Quarter Black Garrett, who's just done all these streams. Little Platoon, Ryan Cannell, we saw him earlier. Chrissy Mayer, and then X-Ray Girl, who almost never says anything. Apparently, all the fans tell me she's there for tech support, and I'm like, as tech support, she doesn't need to be on stream. Why is she on stream?
She doesn't need to appear on camera, or
yeah,
even have her own window. Then I mean, not to like the work.
I'm not. Listen, if she had something to contribute, I'm fine if she's on stream. But she's like, I've heard her say like 2 sentences watching these guys. It's insane.
Dear God, that is just. So it takes all them just to try and get a point across.
Yeah, well, to point out that it's not an issue that these actors and actresses get racist or bigoted messages. That's fine.
They wouldn't like
ever. Never.
It's just going to make people hate her. So it's baffling that she thought that anything that would work. It really feels like it's just a sign of huge insecurity.
They see it as badges of honor in their circles.
Yes,
that's
it
how
also
they
looks
see it.
good. It looks good for them when they say there's a racist thing that happens in the future, because they be like, look, it happened to Amanda and it happened to the 5 different girls that happened to it before. And you
Look
you
at what
don't
happened to
look into
Daisy
it.
Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran, and like they continue to repeat the lies after lies that stack on top of each other.
Yeah, so that's him making excuses for these actors and actresses getting shit on by racist and shit. It's classy stuff, really classy.
Yeah, justifying your racism. That's oh, fuck's sakes.
All right, so I got one final clip. This one is probably a bit less hostile, but it gives away a lot. And this is somebody I'm sure you're gonna recognize, Bobby. He came up.
So what are they doing? They're having this lady not only create a Star Wars series, but apparently infuse the entire Star Wars series with the queerness. Right?
Ben, my wife's pussy should never be wet, Shapiro.
As we have been told that they are supposed to do, according to The Pink News, which of course is a gay website. According to this website, following in the footsteps of The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka, and Andor, Star Wars The Acolyte is set to hit our screens in June and is already a smash hit when it comes to LGBTQ plus minus divided by sound representation, at least. Trans icons Abigail Thorne and Jen Richards are both involved with the series. Thorne plays a character called Ensign Euros, and Richards is one of the writers. Plus, showrunner Leslie Headland, that's who you were hearing a moment ago, is a lesbian. And her wife, Rebecca Henderson, will also act in The Acolyte, alongside Thorne and other LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign icons. Amanda Stenberg, who is gay, non-binary, and uses she, her, and they, them pronouns, also stars in the show, as does Charlie Bennett, who appears as a Yord Fandar, a Jedi. Barnett is gay and says he realized the truth about his sexuality when he was just 13. How exciting. By the way, one of the stars of the show, this Abigail Thorne person, and this person started off on YouTube making a channel called Philosophy Tube. Thorne came out as transgender In 2021, Philosophy Tube launched in 2013 when Thorne was just a dude. And then Thorne came out as trans in 2021 and doubled down on, quote, her theatrical skills in 2022 when a play she wrote and starred in, called The Prince, ran in London. The transgender-themed work is based on Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1. That sounds amazing. Sounds just great. So glad that they can just stack up the trans characters in the middle of a children's series. But they're not after your kids or anything. They don't want to indoctrinate your kids into anything remotely like trans propaganda. They would never do anything like that. Ever, except they're totally doing that. And that's their entire goal. And they keep saying it over and over out loud so you can see it.
The question. I answered the question.
No.
Rico, you're obviously
This
not
might feel
familiar with
disconnected, but
corrupt
there's a-
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me,
Mara.
sir. Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category.
What? It is a statute, and that statute has criminal violations within it. It's a weird statement.
So I cut together two clips there.
He's so bad.
No, yeah,
And-
no, I
and-
mean,
and you know what? I have to applaud him. I have to applaud him, actually. He was properly gendering that person that was angering him so much.
yeah. Well, until he fixed it at the end, yeah.
Until he
But yeah.
corrected himself, but he had 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Penny boy.
Well, you might notice there's those most of that's a Star Wars clip because that's most of what we're talking about. But there's also a little
He
bit
was
there
so
of AOC where he's shitting on AOC. Now, do you want to know why I have those clips together like that?
Why was she about? I mean,
Because
why
it's
was
the
she-
same fucking video. It's the exact same fucking video. Ben does a video where half of it is shitting on Star Wars, and he does a stupid ad in the middle for some Daily Wire bullshit, and then he spends the end of the video shitting on AOC. It's like so
do to him?
clearly like they're trying to get like whoever like Star Wars fans into just conservative propaganda, frankly, conservative politics, and it's not even hidden when you do shit like that. It's
He was
yeah.
so mad.
Oh yeah, no, he's terrible.
That's a beautiful.
I will say, like,
series. Look at that. Look at that. He's just ooh.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, I mean, he's talking about all these. Like,
I just want those
actors.
kids. I just want those kids to stay off my lawn. Oh,
Like, apparently, a lot of the actors are non-binary and queer, and it's like, okay, you
How
do
dare
know
they?
it's Hollywood because that is actually pretty prevalent in Hollywood.
Yeah, like
I actually can't name a queer character in the series so far. Maybe there will be
No.
one later, but like
that really hasn't
yeah.
been established. Yes, he
Yeah.
totally has a unibrow. A
But,
unibrow
he
of
does.
rage.
The unibrow. Ah.
ooh! I'm just, I'm just so mad.
Mhm.
Hypothetically,
But I mean, these guys like to argue they're not political, but then like, you know, obviously you get some shithead like Ben Shapiro arguing the same points they're arguing, and then just shitting on AOC in the second half of the video for like no reason other than to
I've
introduce
gotten
people
into
to
an
that.
argument with a fanatic of Daily Wire, and we were talking about current media.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit a lot of similar talking points. And it's funny because just out of nowhere, switched it right against the AOC. And I remember you going, wait, the fuck does she have to do
Yeah.
with what we were talking about? Like,
Yeah, what?
What?
Well, it's probably because shitheads like this do that in their
Totally.
videos all the time. They're just regurgitating garbage takes.
And, I would love to regurgitate stuff, but I really would call it a garbage take. Like it would be more just like beautiful, like literate 6 pieces.
Mm.
Like what Miss Jasmine Crockett served up Marjorie Taylor Greene a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was just chef's kiss. He was so mad.
Well, that's all the chud takes I have, and it was kind of nice to go over it with you because I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't like looking over chuds unless it's on stream because I was grabbing those clips off stream.
Oh,
Oh
I'm
god,
sure
they
it
were
was
pissing me off. I was like, oh
deep-rooted.
god, ah.
Well, I mean, I sent you a musical interlude.
But yeah, it's kind of fun to go over them. But
Oh,
I mean, frankly,
Oh,
here's the deal:
sick.
like, if you're watching these guys for anything other than to laugh at them, you're not doing it right. I just don't know what else to say. These guys are
sometimes
jokes.
sometimes I'll just put Ben Shapiro on mute and try and guess what he's saying.
You know what? I have a challenge for Ben Shapiro. Ben, I want you to do one video without your little yarmulke hat on. Just one. A challenge. Just a challenge.
Well, I mean, he's talking about the indoctrination, and again, I still think, maybe making kids learn about coveting thy neighbor's wife is the definition of indoctrinating. But hey, semantics,
Oh, yes. So I don't know if you heard about Mr. Beatram. That was the Adam Carolla series for Daily Wire. That, essentially it had all these conservative pundits in it and not a whole lot of actual actors. And it got pretty much blazed by the Daily Wire because it does feature a gay character. Now, the gay character was frequently the butt of the joke. That was too much for Daily Wire fans. So nobody liked it.
That's based off of his Crank Yankers character.
It might have been. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember the name.
But yeah, that's it for Chud Takes and our thoughts on the show this week. Kind of a little different show this week, but it was fun.
This was fun.
I mean, these guys are so fucking dumb and
so mad.
And that's the thing. If it was just dumb and everybody laughed at them, that'd be one thing. But they have their fans that take them fucking seriously, and it is frustrating. All right, so Bobby, next week we have on the agenda Quiet Place Day 1, Beverly Hills Cop, and Alien.
Wait, the originals.
Do you want to maybe do House?
Wait. The originals of both,
Alien and Beverly Hills Cop.
Alien.
Yeah.
Those are both. Really
do you want to switch out Alien for House of the Dragon, the first 3 episodes?
No,
we can just cover Alien the next week.
No, I'll wait.
Okay, it's up to you. I'm not
Alien. If it means I have to cut Alien out, no, I'll always watch Alien.
Well, I mean, we'll get to Alien in a week. It'll just be a week later.
No, because that's one that I would want us to dive into the entire series.
Well, we're not doing the whole series. I think we got a few of them. Yeah, so I got 1, 2, and 3. And then our choice on Prometheus or Resurrection before we get to Romulus.
Prometheus.
Oh, okay.
No. Since we already went the way through, we should do Resurrection.
Well, we don't have to decide yet. That's actually in August when that's on the agenda. So you'll see it on there. Yeah. Because I think Romulus doesn't really connect to any of them. I think it's just kind of like a soft reboot again. I'm hoping it's good, but I don't know. I really don't have a strong opinion on it at this point. So yeah, okay. So it's going to be A Quiet Place Day 1, Alien, and Beverly Hills Cop next week. I'll have to see what streaming services those are on. Well, Quiet Place is going to be in theaters, but yeah, the other 2. I know I have copies of those.
Local cinema
get set up. Yeah.
Here, let me check right now. Yeah, let me check right now.
And Alien and Beverly Hills Cop are pretty much like the same movie, so they'll flow together nicely.
I mean, one has Harry Dean Stanton. The other doesn't.
The other has Ronnie Cox.
The other has Judge Reinhold.
Yes.
It says it's on a certain subscription with Hulu, so that one.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can talk about it afterwards, but we got a plan. All right, so let's see. Anything you want to add before we sign out?
No.
Okay. The only thing I'll add is our Star Trek stream is delayed. Lindsay's not feeling well, so hopefully that will happen at some point, but I don't have a firm date. Until then, I'm going to try. I'm not going to lie. The Doctor Who video for Saturday is probably going to get delayed, but we will see. It's way early. It's further in the writing stages than I'd like. It's not ready to record yet, so that's going to be probably delayed, but hopefully it comes out fairly soon. I'm going to try to get out by the end of the month. And then I'm going to try to do a double stream this weekend. That'll be my next time live. But yes, everyone, party on and be excellent to each other.
Take care.
Now the awkward